Welcome to another episode of Hear Thee Out. On today's episode, I thought it would be fun to give my opinion on controversial wedding rules people have. And being someone that's just gotten married, I thought it'd be interesting. I basically asked ChatGPT and I've sort of taken some rules that I've seen on TikTok. Let me preface this by saying everyone has different rules when it comes to their wedding and things like that. This is my take on it. You don't have to agree with it, but this is what I think. Let's get started. Having strict dress code for guests. I think maybe in our community, like the community I come from, everyone just knows what they have to and cannot wear. So I've just sort of trusted my guests to sort of know what to wear for the weddings. You know, so certain people are like, oh, you can't wear light color, you can't wear this color, you can't wear that color. I didn't really mind. We sort of, as long as it's, you know, wedding sort of etiquettes, we wear it sort of thing. I wasn't too fussed about the dress being too near to white and things like that. Didn't bother me. No plus ones unless married or engaged. Like for me personally, I don't really think that that's sort of fair on your guests. Like personally, I wanted all my guests that attended to enjoy my wedding, right? And so I felt that if coming alone would make them feel a type of way and they wanted that plus one as, you know, a comfort type of thing, I just needed to know that they're getting someone just because I needed to sort of know the numbers and everything. No, I was fine with people having plus ones. I wanted my guests to enjoy, and if that meant getting a plus one, that's fine. Rule number 3, no kids at the wedding. I didn't have this rule. I love kids to start off with, and I have many kids within my family and everything. And to be fair, I didn't really restrict my invites in any type of way. I've always been the type that wanted a small wedding. I've always said that. Like Nash, on the other hand, he always wanted sort of like a bigger wedding and everything. But for me, I always wanted a small wedding. But when it came down to it, along with me and sort of Nash, I wanted my entire family to enjoy the wedding. And that would sort of mean obviously them having their people around as well. So I did not restrict my invites to. I invited my guests, the guests that I wanted to attend, obviously the guests that Nash wanted to attend, the guests that my parents wanted to attend, the guests my siblings wanted to attend, my sister-in-laws wanted to attend. I wanted everyone to feel comfortable. So that if that meant extending the invites to people that are not immediately sort of connected to me, then that was it. And I appreciate that some people will have that kind of restrictions on invites because of certain budgets they may have or personal preference, and that's fine. If that works for you, that works for you. But for me, I wanted everyone present there to feel comfortable, to have a good time, and, you know, to be in a good state of mind. Strict RSVP deadlines. Now this I did have. So I needed to tell the sort of caterers and everything the number of people attending, because it wasn't sort of like a buffet type of arrangement. Mine was like a sit down meal, and it was sort of catered to your dietary restrictions and everything. So it was a sit down meal. I needed to tell the caterers, you know, a few days in advance how many people were coming and everything. So I needed to have like a strict deadline type of thing. I mean, there were a few people that, you know, didn't know because of visas and everything, didn't really know whether they could make it up until the last minute, which was fine. And I spoke to my caterers about that. So whilst it was strict, it wasn't sort of ridiculously strict where I couldn't make arrangements if I really needed to. So for the people that, you know, genuinely had reasons to not be able to confirm before whether they could make it or not, I was like, okay, just let me know closer to the time and I will let the caterers know. Assigned seating is the next rule. And I did have assigned seating in the sense that I had to sort of do the table arrangement, see where everyone's sitting. And honestly, that took so much time. It's not as easy as it sounds. You have to sort of get the sort of right people on the right table to make sure everyone's comfortable, everyone's near people that, you know, they know or they would be comfortable with and stuff like that. So it took me like a good week to sort of arrange that table, the seating plan sort of thing. But that was essentially only for the sit down meal part of the day. And then obviously people would just move from one table to another to like talk or whatever. No photos, videos during ceremony. I didn't have that. find that a little ridiculous, to be fair, because I know how big I am on sort of recording content, taking pictures of things that I think are special. And if people think that my wedding is special and they want to take pictures, they want to take videos, I didn't want to restrict them in any type of way to sort of, you know, put their phones away when they're ceremony or put their phones away when walking down the aisle. I didn't want that. I wanted people to feel like themselves, be in the day like they would any sort of other occasion. If they want to take pictures, if they think a moment is cute, they want to take pictures, they want to take videos, go ahead. The more videos, the more pictures, the better, because I like looking at videos and pictures as well. So I did not have that. I don't think I had any sort of rules for my guests. I wanted them to enjoy. I get, like, you know, people have this sort of ideology that, oh, the wedding is about the bride and the groom and everything should be according to the bride and the groom. I personally don't agree with that. I think that when you do have a celebration and you are inviting people in, it is more than just the bride and the groom. Of course, it is your day and, you know, you should do the things that you want to do, yes. But you should then also consider the guests that you are inviting, because a lot of people put a lot of time and effort and money to be at your special day, right? So the only reason you are able to celebrate your celebration with people is because they choose to attend. So I think you should be respectful of your guests and not take them for granted. So I did not impose any rules or anything for my guests. Like, you know, do you enjoy? And the people I invited, I had no doubt in my mind that they would misbehave or act out of order in any kind of way anyway. So that's never a problem. And in all honesty, I've never been to a wedding where people have assigned ridiculously stupid rules for their guests. So these kind of rules that are popping up on ChatGPT or TikTok really amaze me, because I've never been to a wedding where they're like, oh, no phones, put your phones away, put this away, put that away. I get that, like, you know, that you hire videographers and photographers and you don't want people getting in the way of that. But I've never been to a wedding where guests have actually unnecessarily gone in front of like a videographer or photographer. Of course, there are these odd moments where you don't realize that and you do end up going in front of that, but it's easily, you know, manageable. Like the videographers or photographers would just be like, oh, please can you like move aside, which is fine. Like it's not that big of a deal. Gift registry. Now, I think these aren't very relevant to the community I come from, because I don't know of many people that do gift registries. Not that I'm judging you if you do, but that's just not something I would do, because guests pay for their own meal, drinks. Again, I don't think that these rules really apply to the community I come from, because I've never, ever been to a wedding where I've had to pay for my own meal or my own drinks. That just sounds ridiculous to me. I don't think it would even ever cross our minds to have that as a rule type of thing. From the community I come from, that'd be so weird. I've never experienced it, and I would never let my guests pay for the food or the drinks that, you know, that I'm giving them or I've called them for on my day. No, that was no. No announcements allowed. I didn't have any announcements at my wedding. And I'm guessing these are like, you know, proposals at weddings or like pregnancy announcements or whatever, like by other people, by the guests and stuff like that. I didn't have any of that. I wouldn't have had a problem if there was an announcement or a proposal or whatever at my wedding. I think that a wedding celebration is so special and such a happy occasion, and if you want to add to it by having another announcement, proposal or whatever, another happy occasion or moment, feel free. I wouldn't have had a problem with that. In fact, I would think that it would have made my day even extra special, because every time I think about my wedding, I'll be like, oh, remember they got proposed there, remember she mentioned her pregnancy there. I wouldn't have had a problem. And I've seen a lot of sort of brides say that this would really bother them or whatever, and fair, if that bothers you, that bothers you, but I could never relate. I really do think that any sort of anything that you celebrate only gets better if another person is celebrating something too. So personally, I would have had no problem with that. Social media restrictions. So I'm assuming this is like, oh, you can't post me till I've posted on social media and stuff like that. I did not have that. I was okay with people posting as and when they wanted. The only thing I did have was I didn't want anyone posting up until Nash seen me in my dress, just because I didn't want him to sort of go on his phone and accidentally see me before I've seen his reaction of seeing me. So up until that point, because obviously at that point only my bridesmaids and immediate family members seen me in the dress, so I just told them, like, okay, just please don't post it till Nash has seen me. After that, post it, I don't mind. Apart from that, no, I was fine for them to just post as and when they wanted. Expecting bridesmaids to do a lot of work during the wedding, I personally don't agree with that. Of course, my bridesmaids, all of them were really, really lovely, and I did get a lot of help from them. I wanted them to enjoy as well. Yes, they are the bridesmaids and everything, but I'm not of the mindset that, oh, just because they're your bridesmaids, they have to put in the work. Just because you are the bride and groom, you cannot inconvenience other people. I think it's never that serious. Genuinely, it's never that serious. And if you do get that serious, you will never get to a point where you can enjoy the day, because you are so hooked on having every small detail go according to your plan that you forget to enjoy the day. Personally, I didn't have that. Once my day came, before that I was trying to get everything in line, but there were of course certain things that didn't go to plan, which was fine. I didn't hold on to that. As soon as my day came, that's it. I wasn't bothered. However the day went, I would be okay with it, because at the end of the day, I am marrying the man that I want to marry, and that is all that matters. He's there, I'm there. Everyone that I love is present, and that's all that mattered. And I was extremely grateful for the entire day. The staff, the vendors, the guests, every single one that was involved, I was so grateful for. My main aim was that I enjoy the day, Nash enjoys the day, and everyone present enjoys the day. I think it's very, very important that if you are celebrating your wedding and you are inviting people there, you have that level of respect for the people that do come. Again, like going back to the point that, people saying that, oh, wedding should be about you two and you two only, so you have to make sure whatever you do is, you two are happy with it, the rest don't matter, and blah, 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 blah. And I don't think I entirely agree with that. Yes, it is your special day and you should do the things that make you happy. But if you are not going to consider the guests that come to your wedding and show the love that they do when they attend it, then you might as well have eloped or had just a wedding with you two or your immediate family or whatever. But you are inviting guests at the end of the day, so a level of respect is warranted at that point. And I get that every wedding will have some certain people complaining about the food or the way the things were arranged, the timeline of it and things like that. And at that point, once you've done your best, then I don't think you should consider any comments made from anyone at that point, since you've done the best you thought you could. And if that doesn't seem to be enough for some of your guests, then that's on them. That's not really your problem. That's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next episode. Bye, my lovelies.